This is a topic for us. Like I've said, my name is Ibrahim Ikie, and then welcome. So we'll be looking at branding and then brand building. But I think the first thing that comes to mind is what is branding, right? Um, Let me pick, or is anybody willing to tell me like an idea of what they think branding is? Right? If you have a brand, what is your brand? Should I pick someone from the crowd? Anybody?
Feel free.
Okay, I'm going to pick the guy whose video is turned on.
Can I go?
Yes, please.
Um, Branding about one's identity, right? How you carry yourself to the public. Um, that's how I understand it.
Oh, great. I'm going to I think I like what you said. How I'm going to write it down, sorry.
Okay.
I mean, this is a learning section. How this is like packaging. How
Yes.
correct. How you carry yourself. I mean, this
Yes.
is amazing. This is like carry yourself. Oh, okay. This is the first. Okay. I mean, I like that. And you're actually in line with the talk. So I'll go ahead and just dive in, right? Now, what is branding, right? Contrary to popular belief, right? Branding is not a logo. If you see on the screen, we have three different logos, right? MTN, um, Nike, and then Uber. Now, when you look at MTN, the logo, for instance, does it tell you that this is like it says that this is an identity of the brand, right? Oh, MTN. But when you look at it, you start to feel a way, right? You start to feel a way whereby you're thinking or you're reminiscing or your encounter with MTN, right? So for Ghana, I know there's Momo, right? And they're thinking, oh, they helped me with speed of transaction or something, or if it's data or internet or browser, right? Or if it's their cable or wireless network, and you're like, oh, there's this joy that it gives you, right? Yeah, for other persons to be like, oh, this their network is very poor. I don't like it or something. They begin to feel frustrated. Maybe you think of one experience, right? Now, clearly you've seen that, oh, for MTN, like when you're seeing this logo, it reminds you of a brand, but this is an identifier to say, okay, oh, this points to MTN. The same thing for Nike, right? I mean, Nike is like a class brand, right? And then when you look at it, to be like, oh, okay, this is Nike. But then it doesn't say anything to you if you don't have it, right? You might admire it like, oh, okay, I know this brand, this is Nike, I've seen people. But when you have it, there's a different feeling entirely. And then when you put it on, I'm working, I'm wearing original Nike, and then people are looking at you on the street and like, oh, you get this impression, like, oh, this is a good feeling, right? So clearly, the same thing for Uber. So clearly, branding is not a logo. One of the other things that people confuse branding for is I sell a product, right? Branding, again, is not a product. Like we've clearly explained with the logo, right? Now, when you see the MTN, so this we have the 4G modem here. I'm pretty sure everybody uses it or everyone has heard of it on this call. I used to use MTN and then it was good, and then I moved to another area, and then I have to switch the network because MTN is not good. And then, I mean, so this is like the product now. So I have to now switch to probably Airtel or something. Now, it's not like it wasn't serving, but because I moved somewhere else, I had to change, right? Now, the branding MTN is still there, but of course, I'm using their products, and I'm in a different location, and it doesn't meet up to whatever brand impression I have of them. So I go get another product, right? The same thing for Nike. You have a shoe, you're like, oh, okay, this is a Nike shoe. When you wear the Nike shoe, it's not the shoe that is the brand. It is how you feel when you wear the shoe, right? I've been I've bought shoes before and then I put it on, my leg starts to ache me. But then when I started wearing like original Nikes, I'm like, oh wow, the feeling was totally different, right? So branding is like, oh, that feeling that I got for me, branding is like that feeling that I got from wearing this shoe or from taking an Uber ride. Oh, okay, I'm able to call a ride and it comes to my house, it picks me up, it takes me to my destination. Comfort, the emotions, that's branding. Another one is so branding. Branding is not a promise. Now, this is one of the things that businesses get wrong, right? Um, so when I'm starting up a business, we'd be like, oh, okay, this is what I want to give my customer. This is how I want to define my brand, right? And then we go ahead and say, oh, okay, I want my brand to be unique in this way, a certain way, or all of that. But then one thing we'll come to understand is it's not what you say, right? That is the branding, or that is the brand. It is what your customer says about you. So, for instance, we have MTN. MTN has a general promise across the entire African continent, right? When you go to South Africa, they have a different promise for South Africa. When you go to Ghana, they have a different promise entirely. And then when you're in Nigeria, you have a different promise entirely because you would also see that the products, although similar, they have distinct products across these regions. Um, okay. So, like I said, branding is not, so what then is branding? Branding is not what you say, right? Branding is what they say. The day is your customer, right? That's one definition. Another definition is a perceived image of your company, right? So this perceived image is not the one that you have. Of course, you can help define it, right? You can create that image and everything. But if it doesn't align with what your customers perceive, right, then there's a misalignment and then something has to be checked. Or in other words, we can say branding is a result, right? So when you prepare for a test, so for instance, you prepare for a test, right, and then you come out, you go into a test, and then you come out and you get your results, right? It is because you have studied or you have done your homework that will determine the result that you get, right? So if your branding is done right and you've done all of the due diligence, definitely you will get a good result. Okay, and then that will take me to our outline for today. So this is what we're talking about today. Done a brief introduction of branding. We're looking at key components, building a brand, a step-by-step guide, hopefully. We'll look at some case studies and then we'll see how you can get customer loyalty and turn that into business growth. We're also looking at strategies for growth and then some challenges and then questions and answers. Any questions so far, please? Okay, so I'll go ahead. So introduction is basically why is branding um, important? Why does branding matter for your business, right? And number one here on my list is purchasing decision. And I have this perfect example, right? I'm sure we've all gone to sewn clothes before from a tailor or something, right? Now, if you go and sew a cloth, if you go to a tailor and say you want to sew a cloth, and then they finish the measurement and everything, the next thing that comes to your mind is, oh, okay, how much is the money? They tell you my money is maybe 500 Ghana cedis or 10,000 naira. The first thing you're thinking of is how to beat the price, right? Oh, okay. How much is it last? Let's do, you say 500 Ghana cedis. No, I want to do 350. And then you agree on a certain price and then you come to that conclusion, right? That's a tailor, So that's like if someone who is the person might be good, probably 20 years experience, right? But because they don't have any definite brand or something, you go walk in there and then you can agree on the price and come out. Now, when you go into someone who is probably like well known, respected, or designers, and then well in the game, right? And then in short, the first for you to first go, you're already preparing your mind. Like, oh, okay, I've seen this thing, I've seen their brand, I've seen their marketing, this is what they are doing and everything. You're preparing your mind down. Okay, well, these people will be expensive. They've not said that they're expensive, but because you have perceived it in some certain way, like, oh, you're already making the judgment for them to say, these people will be expensive. So when you go and they tell you, oh, for this thing, we'll do it for you for 10,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah, already cracking your head. Do I have the money in my account or do I go and look somewhere else? Right. So you can liken it to um, already existing brands, for instance. So you go to a restaurant, a well-known restaurant. Their food prices are always on the high side, but their portions are very small, right? But then there's class and everything there. So when you go, you want to spend the money. You don't think about, oh, what's is this? Is it too much? Am I getting? Am I my stomach going to be filled up? You don't think about that. You just want to get on with it and enjoy the experience. So there's something that comes with it also. Oh, you like the place, there's class in it and everything. So branding helps your purchasing decision. All right. Um, One other thing is brand creates trust. Right. Now, the same like from what I've said previously, right? You will see that, oh, the reason why you might even go to something for the first place without even knowing them is because there's probably like some reviews or some um mouth to mouth communications you must have gotten, and then it just build trust because someone is telling you that, oh, this person is good. You just automatically take their word for it, and then that is it. So when you brand right, it creates trust. One other thing it does is it gives you recognition. I mean, so we can see that there's recognition in it from everything I've said. And then recognition is what will also drive long-term growth. One important thing that brand does is it differentiates your businesses, right? You can be doing the same thing with your next neighbor, but what will make you stand out is branding. Branding will generate new customers and markets, right? Um, there's this popular advert. I'm not going to go into details where there was a course beer, and then I think they did something, or it was a football game or something. Maybe no. Okay, so it was a baseball game, right? The sponsor was Budweiser, but they had put a billboard on the event, and then is he Shaw? No, I can't remember the guy's name, but the player was Shaw, and then he hits the baseball when he hits the ball with his bat, the ball went to crack the screen of the where the advert was showing, and then it cracked the screen. Now, when that thing cracked the screen, these guys, what caused it was they took it and then they sort of used that. Like everybody was like, "Oh, why did you smash the billboard?" And then it broke a part of their screen, so their name was not even clearly seen again. So people were just commenting about it, but they turned it around, right? And then that went viral, and it took them to different markets just by, I mean, I probably would get a link and share so that Winnie can share with you guys so that you get a sense of what I'm saying, right? And then in terms of and something branding also does is your marketing, right? When you're trying to do marketing, one thing that would help your marketing go far and wide is if you have a very solid brand um, guideline, right? Or positioning. When you do marketing, it goes far and wide. It reach out to more people, right, than when an average person does it. So people, I mean, you would have gone to websites where you look at it and then your first thought is, oh, this is a fraudulent website, or this website is not well built, so you don't even like it at all. But if you go to another website and you be like, oh, this looks very nice, you want to. The same thing with a store. You go to a store, you look at it, this place is clean, the customer, people attending to you, their composure, they are greeting you well and everything. You want to go there, right? Again, somewhere where they don't have any regard for yourself. You'll probably be going there because you don't have any option. So you just go there. Good. We're looking at what are like some key components of a brand. So the brand building has started now. So what are some key components of a strong brand identity? Number one is your logo visual identity. This compromises, this would also be things like your color, your typography, the symbol, and even your name, right? Your business name. Your business name is also a brand. And what I found is that people tend to be very, very religious when they are picking colors and names. It's something that has to tie like to some, I don't know what to say now, but maybe tradition or something. But you just like something and then you want to do it. Um, right, which would make sense if it aligns to what you're trying to sell. But if it doesn't, then you want to probably change and then adapt to what your customers they need. Number two is brand voice and messaging. So this is basically how you communicate with your customers. What is the messaging like? Customer experience, right? This is like, oh, when your customers come to you, those how do they pace out? What is the emotion they draw back, they take back from interacting with your business? And then there is core values. Now, this is all about you, your business. What is your business core value? Why do you exist beyond making money? What does your business stand for? Okay, we'll go into all of this individually now. So first we'll look at logo and then visual identity. Okay, so example on the screen, right? It tells you why it's very important to you pick the right colors. Now, colors, there's psychology in every color. I have a screen to show you an example of what I'm saying, right? Colors tend to evoke emotions, which is something that we all know, right? If, for instance, you go on you're driving and then you see the traffic light, it says red, you know what to do. If it says green, you know what to do. If it says amber, the yellow, you know what to do. You know what that means, right? If when somebody use the term, the land is green. Now, they've not said that the land is productive or the land is fruitful. But because they've said the land is green, you know that, oh, this is what they are saying. The land is fruitful. The land is. Or someone says, oh, I like white. I like this place. I like my house to be white. Automatically, you're thinking that this person is clean, this person is tidy, this person is elegant or something, right? This is what color communicates. A brief example of how colors have been used over time is what you see on the screen now, right? You have different companies using these colors. MTN uses yellow, which signifies optimism, warmth, clarity. One popular brand we all know is Coca-Cola, red. They didn't pick the red for nothing. And then you will see it in their adverts and everything and their communications. There's always this excitement of people sharing a Coke and then eating bottles together. And this is what they do, right? And then you have most tech companies, even Oze, right? We want to build trust. Subconsciously, this is what this thing does to us, all of us, right? If you say black, maybe not black at night, because black at night will be like you, it makes you afraid or you don't see clearly. But when you see someone driving a black car, you'll be like, oh wow, this is powerful. This person is probably like, especially when the car is like a solid black. Some things just come to mind because of the colors that these things they have. That's why colors is very important. Colors will evoke emotions. Okay, so we'll move to the next one, which is typography. Right. Now, typography is basically an arrangement of text, right? To your audience. You would see on this screen, right? The same thing. You have the same sentence, right? Now, imagine I pass this two piece of paper to you. I pass the first one to you. I would always find you. What comes to your mind? There's joy. Like, oh, this person is thinking of me in a certain way, right? But if I send you the other one, the same sentence, I've not changed anything, but I have just changed the way of writing, the typography I use, the font I use, right? I will always find you. You don't, as in, like, I don't want to take this from anybody because it feels like, oh, okay, this is written in blood. You don't even see red anymore. What you're saying is blood, and you become scared. So it's again with the color, he's also evoking a certain emotion. So the same, so this is red, right? Like we just said before. So this is red. Now on this part, on the left-hand side, red is evoking love here with this font. Now on the right-hand side, you see that red is evoking danger or fear with this particular font. The same sentence, the same colors, but different messages for your business, right? Branding, right, your brand voice is the way you speak to your customers through every form of communication. So it can be your written, the way you write, probably on Facebook, the messaging you send. It could be the advert. What is in your advert? How do you communicate that? How do you write it up? So is it in a funny way? Is it in a playful way? Is it in a very confident way? What kind of messaging are you trying to pass on? Right? And it can be what's it called? The one-on-one interactions that when you customers come to your shop. What's that one-on-one? How do you interact with them? Right? Is it the same? Is it the same way that you are talking with them? Is it the same as the way you talk on probably Facebook or Instagram, online, WhatsApp? Is it the same way? So it has to be the same across. That is like this is what brand voice and brand messaging is, right? And one thing to note is tone is actually very important. So you have to set your tone for your brand. Okay. Now, a bit of homework for you guys to do. There's something called brand archetypes, right? And then there are 12 of them, right? And then I've put a sample of some brands that do that. Um, when you think of UNICEF, right? One of the things that comes to mind is, oh, these guys, they are caregivers. Like they seem like they go about preaching health and care all over the world, right? When you think of Boss, I mean, if you know the brand, like, oh, okay, Boss, this is a ruler or something. When you think of Apple, you're thinking creator, innovator. When you think of Dove, even like when you think of like when you think of Go Dove and then you try to picture their images, right? The all white and then blue, subtle blue all around. It just shows some sort of innocence or safety, a safe brand, right? There's BBC, which is Sage, and that's like, oh, they're all about messaging, finding truths, giving you information and all of that. Then there's the North Face. This is like a popular brand in Europe, and they're like the explorers. So people will get North Face and try to go when they are going hiking or just all around, and then you see people moving about. It's North Face, the North Face. So this is like an homework for you. Um, whatever it is that you do, you might want to identify what kind of brand is what's stored in. So it helps you to also position yourself better. Oh, what kind of brand am I? Right. Okay. Then the third on our list is customer experience. I mean, I think this is something that we all know. Yeah. Um, if you're not getting good customer experience, you would likely not go back to that business again, right? Now, it doesn't matter whether it is in their physical store or through online or something, right? If you're not getting good experience, you would not go back again, except it's not a thing of necessity. Like, oh, okay, you don't have any option. Even at that point, you're still very angry when you're going there because it just seems like that your last resort and you don't have any option, right? So you want to maintain positive interaction across every segment that your customer is going to be interacting with, right? Like I said, so either in the store or online or through your ad communications or website publications or your Instagram posts or Facebook posts, right? Yeah. Now, one quote to take from this is, I mean, this is about Einstein, and this is a very science quote. But it says the only source of knowledge is experience, right? If you think about when we think about our daily lives, the when you think about your friends, you don't just think about, oh, this is my friend. You think about the experience you've shared, right? The people, so the people you don't like, again, the same thing. You think about the experience of why people who have hurt, you think about the experience of why you don't like them, right? So customer experience is actually a key thing. It's one of the determining factor of a brand, right? And experience doesn't necessarily have to be just how people use your product, right? Oh, okay, this product is nice or this product is not nice. It spoils every 5 minutes or every 10 days. I have to go and get a new one. But how you communicate your messaging to them, how you relate with them can also be, that is like an experience. How your mood is, how you set the tone, how you talk, that's an experience. Okay. And it takes us to the final one, which is core value, right? So core values is like your fundamental belief about why your business exists, right? And this is very important. This is very key. This is something that um, we should strive to be very concerned about or pay attention to, right? Why does my business exist? I understand that we want to make profits, right? But beyond making a profit, what is the reason why I exist? Is it to solve people's problem, right? Is it that I'm existing so that I can create innovations or solutions for the African market or the global market? What is the reason why this business is existing, right? If, say, for instance, okay, you're into poultry, right? Now, what your core values might look like is not really, oh, I sell beds and then people come by and make money. It's like, what is the quality of my meat or my egg, right? What is that standard I have set? Why does this business, for me to say, okay, I'm doing poultry, what is the long run? What is the game I'm trying to play here? Am I saying, oh, okay, oh, if you come to me, you would get this sort of quality. Or if you come to me, my pricing, oh, there's this integrity in my pricing. A popular case with when it comes to core value is when I personally for me when I think of um what do we call them? I don't It's not Instagram, maybe Instagram vendors, but also like WhatsApp vendors, right? So you see this person, they come up with a product and they tell you DM for price. Straight away, what you're saying is you don't have integrity to me, right? Because you can imagine, why do you put the product DM for price? So what they try to do is when you send a message, they go look at your profile and then they try to size you up to give you a price. If I send a message, they go and then they go to my profile, they look at my profile like, oh, okay, maybe this person is worth this amount, so we'll give them a separate price. Why do you have to do that? Is it not just one product? If you're doing a service, probably okay. But when you're selling something, the price can be seen somewhere else. So why not just put one price, let people buy from you? So it means that, oh, this person, for starters, does not have integrity when it comes to pricing. And that's something that I would be mindful of, right? I do not want to. I don't even stress myself to go and start. Why would I be doing for prices? If the price is right, I would buy it. Don't make me do extra work. Right. Good. Okay. That's on the key components of strong brand building. The next we'll be looking at how do I, so we've talked about all of this. How do I build a brand, right? How do I build a brand? But before that, any questions? If you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions so far, guys? I'm gonna check the chats. Oh, the second one looks like a threat. Yes, it does. Any questions?
Okay, please, you have a question. Governor, do you have a question, please?
Yes.
Yes, please. Kindly go ahead.
When you was talking about the logo, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, when you were talking about the logo, you were saying that for a new company, it's better that your logo is I think your company name, right?
Yeah.
I want you to like say more about that. Like why is that? Is it advisable that you make it like a simple one, like how the Nikes have done it, or like an emblem, like maybe um, let's say like a bed, or your name fully should be the
Oh,
logo.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, this would bring me to something I don't have on this slide at all, which is like naming, right? Um, like you rightly said, but when you talk about like things like the Nikes or the Adidas or whatever, or even let's not go far. So there's Total Energies, right? There's MTN, there's Dangote, there's
Yeah.
um there's even Coco King in Ghana. I don't know if they still exist now, but yeah, there's Coco King in Ghana.
Mhm.
Even Accra itself is a brand, right? But one of the things you see is that, oh, when you look at these names, they are very short names.
Mhm.
Why? It's because it is easier to remember,
Mhm.
right? If I
Yeah.
say, oh, okay, Nike, right? It's easier for me to remember. But imagine I say that now, I'm not saying don't have a full name, right? Now, you probably, if
Mhm.
you go check maybe the CAC or the business registration document of Nike, it might be one, maybe Nike something, 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 which is fine, right? But then when it now comes to identity, you have to make it as simple as possible for your customers to be able to identify you in the simplest seconds without overthinking, right? If I have to tell you, oh, okay, I used a network provider today. Imagine I'm saying I used national telecommunication service provider, right? Now, at some point that would break, but because it's a bit longer, and then for someone like me, but I don't like to stress myself. The world is already stressful. I mean, they say adulthood na scam. The world is already stressful enough, and I don't want to stress myself. So give me something that's simple as possible, right?
Okay.
So um for instance, I know one of the people I've seen use very long names are agricultural companies, and that's I really don't know why, but I've seen that. Well, that's one thing that they do. So you have this enterprise or something behind it, right? But what they still tend to do is, aside all of those long names, they still have like maybe, for instance, Hollandia, right? Hollandia
Mhm.
has this, when you go check their um supplements. They have this very long name, the Hollandia Industry Nigeria Limited, right? But you don't see all of that in the naming. What you see is Hollandia, and that is like, oh, and that is all that it is. This is your brand name. It's very simple. It's easy to identify, easy to understand, right? And then people can easily remember you. You get. Now, the same thing for the icon. I'm not saying, I mean, you can choose to use, right? But imagine that you are new, right? You meet somebody for the first time, and the person wears a shirt that has an icon, right? Now, if you don't know this person's name, and you didn't probably see if you don't know the person's name, right? Now you probably be looking for the person's face. If you want to talk about the person, probably doing a description, or you say, okay, this person has this circular logo or something, right? But if you know the person's name, that's a different thing now. You now have a connection. Oh, okay, it is this name. I suppose, oh, I know this person, right? So imagine you're trying to find somebody, I don't know their name, but you're trying to describe, and then versus you.
Yes, understood. Understood.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
welcome. And Rukaya, you had your hand up.
Yes, please. Good
Okay,
morning, once again. Yes, I'm Ruka from Ghana.
okay. Nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
I'm doing a catering business and I'm also into agro processing.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
want to create a logo for my business. So how do I, or what steps will I follow to get it?
Okay. Catering and agro, right?
Hello,
Yes. Did you say catering and agro?
hello,
I can hear you.
hello.
I can hear you.
Yes,
Nice. So,
but do you get my question?
yes, you said catering and agro business, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So, can I answer this question like probably at the end of this, right? Let's
Okay, no.
everything let's answer it, case I'll come back to it. Okay.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right. Okay. All right. So thank you guys. And then we'll go to the next section, which is how to build a strong brand, right? Step by step guides. Now, is basically everything I have said, right? Just I've been able to just itemize it here. Number one is you want to define your purpose, right? And then your mission. So why this is like your value. What is your business value? What is the core value of your business? So what is your purpose? What is your mission? What do you aim to serve, right? What do you aim to address in this business? Why do I exist beyond making money, right? It's very important that you're not a profit, I mean like a profit oriented, like when you want to start a business, it's not about profit. Visa would say anybody who knows how to write a business plan is not fit to run a business. I don't know why he says it, but and then he goes ahead to say because in all their books, there's nowhere where there is a loss in 1 month or the other or a year. It's always about profit. So they've had this articulated story of how they are going to make profit and everything. Oh, so the first year we do turnover and then like that. Uh, Business is not about that. If that is the mission, then you probably fold up very, very quickly, right? So you need to understand why you exist beyond. That is what will drive you as a business person. Why do I exist beyond um making money, right? Now, number two is understanding your audience, right? Who are my customers, right? Now, the funny thing about understanding your audience is this. You might be doing the same type of business with somebody, right? But your customers are two different set of persons. You see the example I gave with the tailor, right? People want to sew clothes. People need to sew clothes, right? Two people doing the same business, but your customer base are not the same thing. One is the customer who will come, oh, okay, this, I want to make this, my measurements. Let's do some arguments with the pricing, right? The other one is, oh, okay, I want to sew this and I need it this. What is the price? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. When do I get it? And that's it. Two different, they were the same customers, but two different angles, right? So you have these customers might not come to you because of how you set your brand, right? The same thing so Lukaya who talked about catering just now, right? The same thing, right? If you know an established brand, a catering brand, right? Probably in Ghana, right? You know how much they will charge you. So if you want, like you say, okay, it's not really that there's something special, or maybe they bake better. But somebody who even bakes better might be out there, but doesn't have not done anything about their brand. They've not built that brand, right? When you go and meet them, you want to price their cake. But an established brand will tell you, oh, this is how much I am. Said this is what this thing will cost you. They already have a price tag of they say, okay, a three-tier cake or how many inch cake. They already have that pricing, and then you say you want to do some add-ons, they charge you more. They're not negotiating with you. So you have to understand the people you are serving, your audience. Who are they? How do they perceive your brand? Right? You have to know that. What is the geography they're coming from? Right. Then you have to also craft your unique selling proposition or selling point. Right? What is that thing that is making you stand out from your next neighbor? What is that thing that will make you stand out? Number 4 is design, visual identity, and messaging, which we've talked about. And then I showed. I can't even remember. I can't remember it. But I think I have it here. Yeah. What are you doing today? This is MTN as we speak. It's not everywhere you go or yellow as it used to be, right? Now they've changed. They've had to evolve. I don't know why, but clearly there's something that they're aiming for, right? Yeah. And then we'll look at some case studies, right? So case studies will be how easy it is to identify a brand, or how are other people doing their brand, or how are people doing their advertisement, right? So number one case study is probably like in terms of identification is MTN, right? If you say this today, everyone in this room, you do not need to. I don't need to put a logo somewhere to say this is MTN, right? You already know that this is MTN. Why? Probably because of the font or the color or their messaging over time. It has always been clear, right? It's been how many years now, and then you would not miss this out, right? Now, that's why it's very important to have, consistent messaging across your product. One other brand that I like so much is this. I'm hoping that this messaging will play out.
This is the video we very popular in so she makes.
Okay. So I'm going to do that again, right? So that we hear something. I don't know why the voice is not coming out again. Okay. For some reason, the voice is not coming out again. I don't know why. But now this is Diary of a Kitchen Lover, right? When I'm on Instagram, how I would easily identify her is by what she says at the beginning of every of her videos. She says, "Hi besties." So in my spare time, something I didn't tell Winnie so that she will not disturb my life is in my spare time, I like to look at recipes and cook, right? And she's someone who does that a lot. She shares recipes. But in the start of her video, right, she does this thing called sonic branding, which is she would say, "Hi besties" or "besties." And then, so if I'm scrolling and I hear "Hi besties," I'm stopping to see what she has to say. Because I know that I've been able to tie, this is what this person, like this sound is from this person. So I know it. If any other person using it, I'm like, I think I've seen someone, what's it called, on YouTube, and I'll be like, come on, guys, you don't even sound original like that. But again, this is what it is, right? Branding. It's when it comes to like brand messaging, or for this case now, which is also a part of brand message, right? Brand voice, sonic branding. It's like, oh, okay, there's this great. It's more like if you go somewhere and you hear, ta-da, it's Netflix. I don't need like we don't need to start. You just know it's Netflix. Why? Because they've sort of built that sonic sound for you to, like, when you hear it, you just perceive that, oh, this is what this person is, right? Now, one of that brand, I really do not know why this is happening. So can you give me a minute, guys? Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, hopefully this should work. Can you see my screen again, please? Okay. Okay.
I never see these videos like popular.
So you get what I'm saying, but now part of this is like high boss. Now, another brand that has been able to capture, for me, I would say, a generation is Indomie. If you're from Nigeria, I'm pretty sure they have Indomie in Ghana. I don't know. But if you're from Nigeria, you know what this is. Like, this is probably 1990 or maybe 2000, right? Well, I can sing this song often. And then I'll tell you that today, right? Still today, I have a son now. I would rather buy Indomie than any other instant noodle brand for my child. Why? Because I have grown with these guys over time, right? This is why it's important to keep your messaging straight and understand why you exist beyond making money. It's a generational thing. If if you're going to do business that would outlive you, right? You have to set the foundations right. And this is what these guys have been able to do, right? Now, how do we turn customers into loyal fans? I think we've talked a bit about everything I'm going to be sharing now, right? Which is, number one, you want to build trust. If I trust you, I'm likely to get my friends involved with you. It's just the natural way of life. If I trust you, I do business with you, you deliver. If I know somebody else, I'll get them, like, oh, this is the brand. I'll go and speak about, I'll go and speak on your behalf. So, okay, oh, I know these people that want it. This is not I know that some people can be very terrible when they say, oh, do this for me now, I'll bring people for you. You know, how many of us have gotten that thing before? First, customer will come to you. I beg, give me for this price. Give me for this price. I will get more of my people to come and, this is not it, right? This is not it. It's more like, oh, okay, you have been able to throw out a perception on the mind of an individual, right? They get this value, they get this, what's it called? This product delivers on what it says it to do, right? So that thing that you said, oh, okay, I can do this, or my cake is this, right? they eat it. They even from the way you package it to the way you communicate, you follow up. Oh, your cake is ready. There's a little card inside that says, "Oh, thank you for ordering your cake today." All of those things, right? This is how you build customer loyalty, and this thing will now build trust for this person, and then it in turn it tends to deliver, um, which is just getting more people, right? One other way is that we want to create an emotional connection, right? We have to use storytelling, like I've showed in the videos above, right? We want to use storytelling when we're telling our brand stories. Oh, okay, why do I exist, right? What is the problem I'm solving? How do you tell a story of the problem you're solving? And we're in a digital age, and then I kid you not, Instagram can turn your business around, or Facebook or whatever, or even as simple as WhatsApp, right? How do you communicate with people? What is the emotional um connection you're trying to make with your audience, right? And this could be, oh, okay, what is the relationship you also have with people, right? Is he a transactional relationship, or is he a relationship of help, right? So my business is going to bring money for me, right? But beyond that, in terms of looking at you, how does my business solve your problem? You want to make that connection. Oh, did you find value in this? How was it? Okay, there's something else we can do better. All right. So another thing you can do is you can do loyalty programs. You can offer exclusive offers, or you can do maybe for returning customers, you can say, oh, okay, um, let's um let's give you something. Right? Or let's do a discount for you, right? This thing go a long way. It's like going the extra mile for people. It goes a long way in shaping the mind and building trust in your customers. And these customers, loyal fans, then go out and spread your message for you, right? Okay. What are the strategies we can use for growth, right? Some strategies are things that we just talked about again. So loyalty programs, um, which can be maybe reward for repeating customers, or someone who is buying for the second time or something, reward. Or you could do community engagement. I'm pretty sure they have like events around the community, or um exhibition somewhere, and then you want to participate and say, oh, okay, oh, you want to make noise about it. We'll be there, we'll be supporting this program. There's an initiative going on. Put your brand forward, right? Oh, so for instance, um, they're trying to do a promotion on kids' mental health or something, and then you're a photographer. Like, oh, okay, how can we partner? How can we do this? How can we make ourselves known? And that would take you global, because, I mean, that's like something, like community engagements like that are something that the global audience will seek for also, right? Now, you want to, again, hammering on storytelling. How do you use your social media, your blogs, your videos? How do you tell your stories, right? How do you convey your message? What is your posture? Are you smiling? Are you vexing? You have to be excited about the thing that you're doing, right? Imagine that you are talking about your business and then you are frowning. I'm in my head, I'm thinking, do you even like your business? Are you just after the money? Like, so you have to be happy about what you're saying. And being happy is like, oh, conveying a message, showing a perspective that people should catch, right? From patronizing or associating with your business, right? You want to maintain consistency across your branding, very important. And then you want to adapt, right? Like I've said for the case of MTN, I don't know why they had to adapt, but you want to adapt. When you say that things are now, adapting is not changing your mission or whatever. Adapting is more like, oh, okay, there's something new coming on. How do I position myself for this, right? This is what I'm doing. How can I relay the message differently and say, okay, oh, this is what we stand for, and we can come in this direction, right? That's adapting, right? And I know that all of these things I'm saying, right, there are some constraints, right? especially for SMEs, which is one, limited budget, two, maybe time constraints, three is like inconsistent messaging, so you don't have the right tools, or you don't have the right knowledge, or you don't even have the finance to start getting somebody to do your messaging properly for you, right? Or you don't know the technical how. And then there's also marketing competition, right? Now, in all of these things, you can also find solace in saying, oh, okay, for say for instance, you don't have the capacity to hire a graphics designer, budget constraint, or a brand strategist or something, right? Now, if that will probably cost you your 10,000 Ghana cedis or 100,000 naira, what can I do, right, within myself to push these limits a bit further? Not in terms of let's not affect me, right? It means that I probably have to go the extra mile to say, okay, how can I learn some things? You don't have to be a master of all. How, yeah, that's why we're here today, right? You're taking some knowledge. What does this mean for me today, right? How can I use this in my business in the little way that I know, right? You don't have the time, fine. But what can I do? Now, in terms of time constraints, right? And you don't have the time. Now, you see, we've talked about different aspects. And for some people, you don't have to even attack everything, right? Some people, you might not even have a brand. You might not even have a logo at all, right? Your brand might just be your person. Like, oh, okay. How do I shape myself so that people can, when they look at me, like, oh, when they hear my name, like, oh, this is what they think about, right? So it probably be like the internal working you have to do within yourself. That might be what you need to do, right? So all of these things are like, oh, okay, there's always something that you can do easy, right? Try to make things as simple as possible. Don't go overboard, right? Uh, okay. So again, solutions, you can utilize free software like Canva. I know some guys would teach Canva for like maybe 10,000 naira, and then you can go in and then you can use your mobile phones. Some guys use mobile phones to create ad, and when I look at it, I'll be like, oh wow, are you serious? So you can probably want to learn or something, or if you don't have the time to learn, again, like I said, you can do some internal working, right, in yourself and say, okay, this is what I need to do for myself, right? Good. Okay, so that brings me to the end of today's talk. Thank you very much. So the key point is, in starting out, start small, right? Don't think that you have to do everything. You don't have to do everything in the first go. Start small. It could be, oh, my personal self, right? Maybe the way people perceive me is in a certain way. How do I change that, right? Do I need to, if in terms of like my brand voice now, right? Which is like, oh, okay, which you probably have some form of influence of that, how it's seen, right? Your brand messaging. So how you communicate with people. How do I make people remember me? How do I come out very vibrant and positive in the mind of people, right? And then adapt as you grow. Thank you very much. Any other questions? So before I take any questions, let me go ahead and answer. Rukaya, I think she's still on the call. Hi, Rukaya. Uh, Winnie, do we have Rukaya on the call? Yes, I think we do. Rukaya, can you hear me? Yeah, I need that to be able to hear me so I can before she comes up. So
Hello.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. So I was going to answer your question, but can you ask the question again so that those who are not here when you
Yeah.
ask would hear the question again?
Yes. I said I have a business and I want to create a brand logo for it.
Okay. So you have
Then I
what
want
kind of
to
business?
know the steps. Yes. I have catering and agro processing business.
Okay. All right.
Yes. And I want to create a logo for it. So I
Oh,
want to know the steps that I will follow to get the logo.
okay.
Yeah.
I think uh oh, let me trade to the house first. Does anyone have any suggestion for her? Anybody? Any suggestion for her? Okay, so I'll go ahead, right? Now, I think, Rukaya, so the first question is this, but you have one is a catering business, right? And then the other one is agro-allied products, right? So you have a agricultural business, right? And then you want to create a logo. Well, what you have just said is you have talked about two different businesses now, right? I don't know if you I don't know if you have one name for both, right? Which would be
Yes.
fine, right?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Do you
I
have
said
one
I
name
have.
for business?
Yes, I have one name for it, which is Mara Catering and it's Mara Catering Service initial.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, and that is the same name you use for the agro-allied.
agro. Yes, so the products that I'm doing is Tom Brown, granite paste, bread
Oh,
spread. So that one I name it. The product name is Mara. All
okay,
the product you will see Mara special cooking granite paste.
okay,
Yes, then Mara breastfed, Mara cereal mix.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, great. I think that you've even done some work in it, which is fine, right? I think that
yes.
one thing I would say is, I mean, and then one thing I would say is this, right? Um, what you have is two separate business. The danger of using one name so for anybody doing it here, right? The danger of using one name um for say different distinctive businesses, right, is this. If something goes wrong in one business, an image, say your image, so your agro-allied customers are angry with you, right? When they are calling you out, it will affect the catering. Now, I'm not saying something will go wrong, right? But if something were to happen, right, to one, it affects everything just because you have used one name for everything, right? So one thing I advise is, which you've done, right? But you still have to make conscious effort to differentiate what it is, right? Now you have the agro-allied, and then you have what's it called? The catering. Catering is a different thing. When you're sending messages out, you're sending messages out for, oh, okay, people who are excited, people who are probably celebrating birthdays, wedding parties, events, and all what's not now. Your messaging would be friendly, exciting, creative, right? And now, when it comes to agro-allied products, right, you're probably thinking of maybe home improvements, right, or LD living, right? So, oh, okay. When I think about else, right, is I'm already putting grain to it. So, LD living. So why would you come and why you should buy my agro product? It is more healthier than what you have out there, right? Now you can use health for the catering, but you would see that it's very distinctive, right? Because the end goal is not the same thing for for your customers. They're two different things. So you want to separate it, right? You want to separate it and say, okay, So just like you've called. So if you're going to say this is, I don't know if I got you right now, Mara, but now there's nothing stopping you from raising a second business that says, oh, this is what this one would be, is under this one. And then you have probably, if you probably have a social media account, separate it. Understand that it might be work to do that, right? But you want to separate it so that people know you for this, right? And there's this thing again, right? When they say master of, jack of all trades, right? Is a master of what again? None. Uh, Now, there's this thing that people do subconsciously, right? Especially with brands that are not known, or people that are just starting out, or probably are not popular. Now, when you come to them with, oh, I do this and I do this, they tend to undervalue you straight away. Like, oh, okay, let me use one stone to kill two birds. That is the impression that they will immediately.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you. All right, please. Okay. So it's always best to actually separate these things so that people don't tie you to, oh, okay, we can actually do, we can actually get one for two, which is what people would do, right? They want to be distinctive and say, okay, oh, this is what this thing is, the catering business. You want to create a brand for that, right? And then have everything, your messaging is centered around the catering. And then for agro-allied, you also want to talk to different customers, right? You can be probably talking with your suppliers or something. These are like two different things entirely, from moving your suppliers to your customers. So you have different suppliers, different customers, right? Good. So that's it. Any other question, guys? Come on, guys. Any other questions?
Hello.
Hi, Iben.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. I'm sorry, I couldn't join the meeting very early. Network challenges.
No problem.
The other lady's question, I don't know. I think she was asking how you can create a logo for a business, if I'm very correct. I was hearing something like that before the network was stable. So I wanted to get her question, her problem very well. If you can really help me out, or if she's online, so that
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please. That's exactly what you've heard. I
Okay.
want to know the steps that you can follow to create a logo for your company or
Okay.
your business. Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
what I've done actually, but is to say, oh, I've first seen that you're doing two different things, right? So I'm saying that you have to, first of all, separate them. That's one. Now, two is, oh, okay, what is my business about? Like we've just talked about it now. What is my business about? What am I selling? What am I solving? What is my communication? For my catering, who am I attending to? Who are my customers? Right? You need to understand these things. So it's not just, I'm not going to say, go create a logo, right? You need to understand why, the why of why your logo should look like this, or your messaging should be like this, right? So why is it? Moses, do you have something to say?
Hello. It's not Moses, it's Eben.
Oh, no, there was somebody raising up his hand, but let me come. Okay, I'll come back to him, right? Now, so a straight answer would be go get a designer, somebody a brand specialist who can help you understand what you're trying to do, right? And then that person can help you tailor your experience and give you the right brands. I mean, there are softwares, there are icon generating tools and all of those things. There are simpler, there are easier ways to do these things, right? To say, okay, oh, this is just go to, if you go on Google now, type icon generator, you probably see, or you go to Canva and then you see, you can also select logos, right? And then you do that and then you can put it and then you can have it, right? I'm of the opinion that you can start small, which is fine, right? But you need to, even at starting small, you need to understand why you are taking this approach. Even
Yes, please.
okay, so do
Thank
you
you.
understand
Thank you
what I'm saying?
for your feedback.
Huh?
I said thank you for the response. I
Oh,
think her question resonated with mine. That's why.
okay, all right. So Rukaya, you
Okay,
want to
can I?
touch with somebody who can, sorry, Moses, you want to get in touch with somebody who can create crafted delightful brand for you and then do that. If you can't, if it's some constraints like we've discussed, then you probably want to start small. Okay, so do I, first of all, is my name in, right? What is my name? You probably like again is like, is this thing where somebody says I want to fix my boiler, right? How do I fix it? You'll probably have to learn the ropes. If you have the time, you probably want to learn the ropes and then do that yourself, right? But again, you can be, oh, okay, as you as a person, let's first of all work on your personal brand. What is my personal brand like? Moses, please, sorry, go ahead. Moses?
Okay, thank you so much. Confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can hear you, Moses.
Okay, thank you for this, Mark. And then my apologies, I joined late too. I just wanted to add to what you said. What you said actually makes sense regarding that woman's question concerning the design or designing her logo. Because I think I have an experience just yesterday. Um, Someone approached me to say, oh, she wants to design two different logos for two different businesses. So
Oh,
what she does, for instance, is she's into makeup. She's a makeup artist. So
okay.
there's the artistry part, and then she also sells makeup products, right? So um, she was now trying to say, oh, we have to design two different logos. But at the same time, what I try to make her understand is if you are having two complementary kind of services, I
Yes.
understand the risks involved, which you mentioned, to say, oh, if anything goes wrong, people are going to drag the two businesses. But at the same time, I think if you have complementing businesses,
Yes.
it's better you have one logo and then probably have one name. So you could have the product aspect and then the service aspect. So for the agro night, for instance, I don't know her niche. I don't know if what she's producing, if for instance she's into crop production, I don't know if what she's producing from her farm is what she's using for her other products. So if that is the case, then personally, I think I would say she come up with one logo, and then more importantly to her own to a specific question on how to go about it. Um, when I saw the advert for this class, I was very interested because there's still so many misconceptions out there regarding branding, right? So most people just assume that you build your logo and that is branding. And thank God you have been able to expatiate or clear the air on the differences and how it should be. And so for her, I think it's important she conveys to whoever is designing what she wants to communicate.
Yeah.
So I find graphic designers, you just tell graphic designers, oh, you want the logo, and then they will just go from top of their head and try to design something, and that is based on what it's in their head. But you, the owner of the business, have what you want to convey to your target audience. You want how your target audience to feel anytime they see any of your brand identity items, right? So it's important to have that conversation with the person, whoever is designing it, so that they don't have so much back and forth, because I've experienced this so much back and forth. It's not very comfortable. Thank you so much. That's just what I wanted to add to the woman's question. I hope I made sense though.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes. And I actually like what you said about, so if it's a similar business, I mean, I can understand the one you talked about, but so you have the makeup, right? So, I mean, you can be selling makeup in one shop, right? And then still be doing your services. So you have like a studio and then you have like a product. It's more like Babas will say, okay, oh, there's this hair cream, they have it in their store. They don't really make it, but you can come there and then you can still buy it from them, or you can still buy clipper from some stores, right? Now, that's like one center line to say, oh, okay, well, this is the core of my business, right? Which is still fine because it is very, very, the services are almost identical. They marry each other, right? But again, so it's like a take home for Rukaya, right? So when you look at your catering business and then your agro business, do they marry each other, right? So by marrying, can you get the same value? Like, can people get similar services from them, or are you serving the same audience, right? If you're serving the same audience, which is fine. So, I mean, Moses, thank you very much for that, for what you said. I mean, perfect example. So, if I'm doing makeup for somebody and I'm selling makeup, now by the time I finish my makeup, the person would actually still buy makeup products. So the same makeup products, right? Now, it is more like, oh, this is the perfect two bed with one stone, right? This is the perfect example. Like, oh, okay, so it's similar service. I just do a makeup for you and then you want my products. Fine. The same thing. You would buy the makeup and apply it to your face, or you can come meet me to apply it on you. The same thing. So you might need to, so for that person, you might just need to create one. It's not you just have to pass the same messaging across and everything, right? If they decide that that's what they want, maybe fine. Because customers, I mean, business owners want different things. But in advice, that is how it should be. Same services. So Rukaya, you want to look at your catering business, your agro business. What does this? Am I offering the same services? Am I targeting the same customer segment? If not, right, who are my suppliers? Whom suppliers? Am I getting things from the same supplier? What I'm getting from my agro business, do I use it in my cake business? If they are two distinct things, then you probably want to differentiate. But if you think that okay, they are the same thing, then you want to. But you need to, so all of this we've done today is for you to get this idea of what the brand should be like, and then you're going to pass it on to somebody who's going to do it for you, or you do it yourself by starting small, like I've said. Thank you very much. Any other questions? So if no questions, Winnie, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, ABRA. This was such an insightful session. It really taught us the importance of branding, how branding should carry, if you are branding your company, you should carry an emotion, whatever emotion you want people to have when they remember your brand. So I pray that we all take time, look back at the brands we have so far, and figure out whether we want to improve it, what we can take out, what we can include and make it better. So thank you so much. If you guys can kindly share some emojis in the chats to thank KBR for his time. We really appreciate all the insights. So we'll be sharing a recap, and also the slides in the business WhatsApp groups. It's in the chat. So kindly join the groups depending on the respective country you're in. And before you guys go, we just want to briefly talk to you about Oze at the end, just to let you know what we do and see if there's anyone who's interested and would like to give it a try. So I'm going to hand off to my colleague, Mikey, to take us through briefly what Oze does.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. The session was very, very educative and exciting. So if you have not downloaded the Oze app yet, please do well to download the app now. If you are looking for a tool to help manage your business in terms of the sales and expenses that you make in your business, if you are looking for a tool to help you manage your inventory, if you're also looking for a tool to that you can list products that you are currently selling or services that you currently offer in your business, then Oze is the app for you. And on top of all of these things that I've mentioned, you can also get financial aid or financial assistance from us. We've partnered with various financial institutions that are open to giving out loans to business owners. The requirement is for you to be an active user of the app for a minimum of 30 days, and would also need either your bank statement if you're in Nigeria or in Rwanda or in Guinea or Benin. And if you're in Ghana, then would require your bank statement or your mobile money statement. So please do well to go on the App Store and the Play Store and download the app now and start managing your business. Thank you very much. And okay, so I can see Amos just sent a message in the chat saying that he tried to sign up, but it was not successful. So Amos, please, would reach out to you after the session to assist you. Or you can as well reach out to Winnie directly, and we would definitely assist you. Okay, so please, on that note, I'd like to thank everyone for making time to join this session. Please do well to join the WhatsApp group, like Winnie said, and you can get the recap of the session that we had today. And we are looking forward to seeing all the big brands that are going to come from today's workshop. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you all for joining. My number is in the chat, so if anybody needs to reach out to me on a question, please do so. If you also want to connect with the BRA, I'll link you with the BRA. So thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next month on our next workshop session. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.